Want to throw staff under the bus? Watch it fall back onto your family. I worked 5 years as a warehouse manager in a building that the head office was right above us. I worked with a CSR, let's call him J, and his father worked in the warehouse, let's call him L. We had a team of 30 people in the warehouse, and we had just had our online business active for about 1 year now. I want to ask you, friend, subscribe to my channel, it's very important to me. Before that, our main source of business was picking transfers for stores and really just stocking the stores. We finally opened the online part of our business, this is back in 2015. So we would also sell similar products on the web. The problem is that if a store got all the product picked of one thing while a web order came in for the same, then we would be at a loss because we don't have enough for the customer, it would already be scanned by an employee and packed on a skid. Not worth digging an hour to find a $10 product. Anyhow, J and L were both infamous for throwing people under the bus for their own personal gain. It almost seemed that they would do it whether it was personal gain or not. They just were low lives, the people I would consider losers. They both worked in the business for 10 years and they were both entry-level positions since they were toxic and non-promotable. One time I get into a meeting upstairs organized by my boss, CFO, the customer service manager and the 3 CSRs. It turned out to be kind of an ambush because Jay walked in with a stack of paperwork. I was new at the time, about 4 months into the job. We talked about the online business and where we did well, but ultimately where we fell short. Jay then dropped the stack of paper, pointed at me, and said, this is a stack of issues that your staff have done in the past year. Literally a list of things even from before I was employed. He basically said that the warehouse didn't know what they were doing, as the stack included missed picks, incorrect quantity shipped and other issues. I had said this is the first time I've heard of any issues. Why would we not bring the issues up one by one so we can fix the concern or see where the issue lies and address it to correct future ones rather than wait for them all to pile up and become more issues? I said this and then said, so wait, you were intentionally holding off on information that could have helped this business so you can collect enough data to try to make someone lose their job instead. Jay said, someone should be fired for this. CFO quickly disagreed, but I said, you know what, I will have to look at these issues and address with staff. So I took the stack and went downstairs. I found something interesting. No issues were brought about specific errors from the department L works at, his dad. So I went and asked the CFO if Jay could provide me details on each department, specifically Department 35 and 40. Which were our laboratory and LTL shipment business. Both are L's position. Eventually Jay took a week, so I had the CFO ask again. He gave me a few issues but tried to sugarcoat it. The thing is, Jay had given me a few small issues with a customer we don't deal with anymore. Apparently this customer dropped us as we had tons of logistical issues. So I called the customer and said I was a new manager trying to find ways to improve and wanted to know what happened. When the customer happily gave me a list of issues, I found it was all L that created the errors. In fact, we lost 3 high-valued customers due to it. So I went to the CFO and got approved to terminate with a bare minimum package. Jay and L lived together, L was the person paying for the mortgage. When Jay found out I was terminating his dad, he came to me and talked to me personally about it. He said, listen, my intent wasn't to get anyone terminated, it is simply to make sure we function well as a company. I said, Jay, I appreciate your concern, but you made it very clear in the meeting that someone needs to lose their position, and I found several issues where an employee had clearly made us lose 3 high-value customers and he is still creating issues to this day. Jay said, okay, but termination is a stretch. I said, I don't know how you found out I was going to possibly terminate someone in the first place. But I do what I must to simply make sure we function well as a company. I played dumb that I didn't know they were related. To the point where after I had terminated L and officially was told they were son and father, I had gone to Jay and said, I am sorry, I did not know you two were related. If I had known, then I would see why you were hiding information on the department intentionally. Over my time there, Jay had tried to do the same thing, and I eventually got him to a final written warning based on staff harassment. He still works there as a CSR. Will never move up in the company. Has his age capped. I don't enjoy terminating individuals, especially when it's a parent who needs to provide for their family. But this duo. Fuck them. Fucked around and his dad found out. Was this in Alabama by any chance? This is a rare case of work-related incest. Not to throw any state under the incest bus, but the state that actually has the historically highest rate in the US is Kentucky. It was historically more common in areas with difficult to traverse landscape and small communities, so mountainous areas. Someone should be fired for this. After examining and realizing that J and L are the ones should be fired for this. My intent wasn't to get anyone terminated. 360 faster than MW2 montages with sniper rifle 180. This seems to be a case where someone goes overboard to deflect attention away from their gaping incompetence and major insecurity. They think that by being so extreme that no one would expect that they are the ones at fault and they're willing to destroy other people to continue the charade. Individuals being terminated suck, but bottom feedings come not so much. Fuck those guys and everyone like him. As his age cap, this is my new favorite death threat. I feel like that was a typo. Probably meant wage capped. I work at a place that does the same thing. Definitely meant wage capped, but I like this now. Person who insisted on buying house as not worth the asking price. Late 90s, my grandparents had left a house behind on Walnut Avenue in West Seattle. As much as I wanted to live there, it was to be sold and divided among surviving relatives. Estate planner said the house would have been currently worth well over $1 million, will go for $350K, but might take some time. I knew the lady across the street wanted to buy the property and rent it out to keep builders from erecting a 3-story unit that would block her view of Seattle. I knocked on her door and told her we were selling and asked if she was interested. She tried to lowball me at $250K, and I said no thanks, even if it took a while we would get the full value. She told me to my face that I was stupid if I thought I was going to get that much. This pissed me off, as I knew the property alone with unobstructed Seattle view was worth a pretty penny. So, I started knocking on neighbors' doors, letting them know the property was about to be listed, figuring someone would want another property on the same block. I sold the house to the 5th person that answered their door. Deal was done in a matter of days. I received a commission for the sale. The across the street neighbor who lowballed me called me up, furious that I didn't give her a chance to match the price. I said, "You told me I was stupid for asking that price, and that made me want to sell it to prove you wrong," then hung up. Edit. Forgot to mention that the people who bought it were part of an investment group that did indeed put up a 3-story place that does indeed block her view. Edit 2. Corrected street name, Maple to Walnut Avenue. She got what she paid for, nothing. Not to mention she lost her view of Seattle, a coveted thing out here. God, I'd kill for a house at 350 with any view. Views that are awesome. I like plants and animals and to help people and the environment and animals. I like seeing the birds that are outside. They are a nice view to see. Crows keep hunting pigeons though. And predator hunting prey is also part of the beauty of nature. Prey get scared. Corvids can eat most no meat if they wanted to. Substitute fat from meat with nuts. But meat does have important nutrients they cannot get otherwise. I understand why. Does not mean I like to see it. Here is what a lot of buyers do not understand. Not everyone is desperate to sell their house. Some people will actually put their house on the market, and if it doesn't sell at the price they want, they will just stay in it. So buyers don't think you can lowball someone, insult them, threaten them or whatever. They don't have to sell their house. That woman was psycho, and I wouldn't have sold her a cookie at a bake sale. Fact. Back in my home county, there's a rich guy that has a home dubbed by some as Amador Castle, but those of us that were kids and teens when he started putting in the carnival rides call it one of Neverland Ranch. He gets a cranky bug up his butt every now and then and tries to sell it. Nobody pays what he asks and he takes it off market. It's currently back on the market for something like $4 million. I think we'll see if anyone buys it. What do you suppose it's actually worth? I can't be objective. I remember when that home had a pond and horses. Now the pond is drained and it has carnival rides, and the owner is a slumlord. Like, at one of his properties, his renters and their kids couldn't use the toilet because the plumbing busted during the holidays and he couldn't bother calling someone. And don't get me started on the mold. That's crazy. It's a rather lovely looking home. Too bad it's got all that tacky shit to come with. Give me a pond and horses over the octopus any day. Okay, maybe the merry-go-round can stay. I've honestly never looked at all the pics. The boat is such a slap. It's roughly where the outer parts of the pond was. My first sarcastic thought was, well, now we know where he drained the pond. My thoughts, too. Looking at the photos thinking it's a nice home. Not a bad layout with a big open kitchen. Even has a good amount of land the house is on, too. The tacky stuff I can do without as well, even though the Ferris wheel and merry-go-round my kids would love, I'm sure. I just kept seeing room after room filled with 80s bric-a-brac, the kind you see gathering dust at thrift stores. This house is staged terribly, IMO. You gave her a chance. She blew it. How people who go through life being generally unpleasant to everyone can even hold down a job without pissing off their boss. They're usually the ass kissers in the company. Kiss upwards, piss downwards. You only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. And alas, she blew her one opportunity. The end. BTW last day to watch 8 Mile on Netflix is October 31. Eminem one shot, lose yourself, love it. Edit. Obvious correctin, still loving that Eminem. She threw up mom's spaghetti. I am not throwing away my shot. Just like my country, I'm young, scrappy and hungry, and I am not throwing away my shot. She definitely threw away her shot. The end. $350K in West Seattle with view of Seattle. Was this 40 years ago? Editor Ed. 30 years ago. 25 or so. Before the price boom, OFK. I was thinking it had to have happened a long time ago. Long time is relative to the age of the person to whom you are speaking. Ops. Didn't mean to offend. Oh no offense. I get it. But time is relative. Trust me, I took zero offense, which happens to match the amount of fucks I have left to give. Sail onward through the fog, my new friend. Oh, this video has come to an end. If you want more such cool stories, then go to one of the many following videos.